Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you're joining me today. And today I'm going to talk about my new method, if you will. It's not really kind of new. It's something that I've always been talking about. It's kind of all of my tools all wrapped into one. I've been spending lots of time and space putting together a program that encompasses every single thing that I teach. And today I want to share it with you, my energetic receiving method. Now, essentially, this is everything I have in my book as well, but now I'm kind of putting it all together. I'm packaging it all together, and I'm calling it something in particular, which I am moving into the energetic receiving method. And today I want to share that with you and really have kind of some key points I really want to touch on here. So number one, I really want to talk about how my awareness of why receiving is such a key piece in evolving and awakening in this reality. You guys, receiving is just, yeah, it's just, to me, it's kind of the do-all be-all. It's really, in my interesting point of view, what we're moving into being is a receiver. And so receiving just plays such a, obviously, it's like the key of really what's going to unlock your body and your being as we move forward. So number two, I want to talk about how you can use receiving to transform literally every single area of your life. And in this energetic receiving method, I have laid it all out in a step-by-step process, essentially, and how you can use this to really, truly transform every single area of your life. And number three, I'm going to explain how you can use each one of these tools in conjunction to truly transform your life. Okay, and essentially it all begins with receiving. So we're going to dive into the energetic receiving method. I have essentially broke the energetic receiving method into 8 modules, and by breaking it into 8 modules, essentially what I did was I kind of took each tool that I teach and I expanded within each tool and really truly showed you how you can, start with one tool and kind of move your way through while I'm going to say stacking them on top of each other to really truly transform your life and create you as a receiving organ, which really truly does. And I know that sounds weird, like to transform you into a receiving organ, but that's really truly what we are, right? And if you've been following me, listening to me, doing my stuff for any amount of time, you know that receiving's been a key part of this. And what I think is really interesting is, even for myself as a facilitator, and even as a change agent, and even as someone who uses tools to help others transform, uh, it's been really interesting how the tools that I use have transformed for me deeper and deeper the longer and longer I use them, but really the more and more I talk about them. And I think it's one of these things that the more you do it, the deeper you feel how it affects your life, the deeper you feel how you can use this to transform literally every single area of your life. And the more you, I'm going to say, again, practice. The more you practice these different receiving modalities, the the more and more information you have, the more and more space of you have. It's just been really amazing these last few years, and even looking at putting this all together in kind of a course, if you will. Even though most of my courses talk about this information, I haven't ever been able, I'm going to say that, I haven't ever really been able to actually put it in a method that truly makes sense for me. And I wrote my book last year. That last year, almost exactly at this time of March of last year, I was actually putting the finishing touches on my book. And as I put the finishing touches on my book, I realized that it wasn't quite in the exact order that truly made sense to me, but it was the closest I could get it to uh, at that time to really just, it was kind of like, okay, this is as close as I can get. It's got to go. It's got to move forward. And now, even a year later, I have so much more clarity on how to stack these tools to truly create that amazing expansion in your being to really truly awaken and transform your life. And so I'm super excited about getting the energetic receiving method out there. I'm excited that uh, that it's going to essentially be that set of energy processes that you can use to heal, transform, and really truly create your life. And I'm super excited to be able to not only share these tools with you today, but really show you how the change in energy allows your stored belief systems, your old emotional paradigms to be shifted and released. And essentially how this powerful process can really lead you to feeling what's true for you, allowing a clear direction on how to create what you desire. I feel like this process can really deepen and expand your inner awareness, giving you a clear path to essentially you and your intuition and your knowing and your, awareness, however you want to say it. For me, it's all kind of the same thing. It really just leads you back to who you be. I know so many people, especially in kind of the realm of work that I do, that have been really trying to get to the place where they can feel what is true for them. And they still loop in a lot of, I still can't tell what's true for me. I'm still connected to a lot of the head noise. I still don't know how to, really truly flow in a life that works for me. And that boils back down to, for me, is you're not receiving. You haven't shifted your body into that receiving organ. You're not truly standing in the space where you're truly being the receiver. So today I want to talk about that. I'm going to quit babbling for a moment here, and we're going to get started. So essentially, the energetic receiving method, I've broken into 8 different modules. Okay, so today I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of each module, and really how you can stack these tools on top of each other to truly create this amazing self-aware transformation inside of you. And at the core of it is all receiving. It's literally all receiving. So we're going to kind of jump in and get started today. So of course, as we kind of get started, we're going to use module 1, and module 1 is expanding, because you know that I love to get into an expanded space, because you are a being, right at the core of who you be. You are a being, and you have a body, and your body is within your being, right? Your being is not within your body. So when you truly get into the space of who you be, you really have to get into that expanded space of your being. So today we're going to go ahead and expand out. We're going to get into the expanded space of our being, and we're going to talk about number 1, how expanding can shift and change your life. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take some nice deep breaths, and let's put our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down. And let's go ahead and expand, and go ahead and make yourself as big as the building that you're in. Go all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. Go ahead and expand out as big as this city that you're in. Go all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. And go ahead and expand out as big as the state that you're in. Go all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. And as you're expanding, basically, you don't really have to do anything. You just have to listen to the sound of my voice and allow your being to expand. What you may start feeling is you may start feeling that vortexing feeling coming up and through your body as we expand together. And let's go ahead and expand out as big as the country that we're in, or that you're in, all the way out and all the way down and all the way up. Nice deep breath, and go ahead and expand out as big as the planet that you're on, that we're on, as big as planet Earth. Hopefully we're all on the same planet if we're listening to this show. Bigger, faster in the universe. And the multiverse, multiple universes. And times that by million, times that by million, times that by million, times that by million. Nice deep breath all the way out to the space of who you be as the infinite being that you be. And we're just going to kind of let that vortex through for a moment. So living in an expanded space really allows the molecules of your being to stay big and stay expanded. When you are in an expanded space, your awareness increases. Really, it truly does, because all the information is flowing through you instead of coming in and your body's trying to process it, trying to figure it out, right? Trying to make it make sense. When we learn to stay in an expanded space, I mean, there's so many different things that start to happen. Number one, in your body, a lot of times the pain in your body will start shifting. From my personal experience working on others and even in my own body, one of the things that I learned was, as a receiver, okay, whether you're consciously understanding that you're receiving information right now or not, your body is a receiving organ, okay, period. You are always receiving information from everyone and everything. I don't care how much you're trying to protect yourself or trying to resist the information, your body is a receiver, period, okay? Your eyes see, your nose smells, your mouth tastes, your ears hear, and your skin absorbs, period. Okay? So when you're in contraction, when you're in resistance of information, which most of us do, we stay in this contracted state all the time. What happens is your body gets wound up. Right, and that winding of essentially kind of becomes like a winding of information. Like as you're receiving information, it's like, oh, it's painful to know that, oh, it's hard to know that, oh, it's difficult to know that, right? So your body's in this constant state of resistance of information, and what happens is that resistance builds up, and it starts to create pain issues in your body. Now, I can personally say, I used to suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. And my fibromyalgia has dramatically changed over these years of allowing myself to really truly be a receiver, because I'm receiving information, I'm not storing it, okay? Those are the top two things that start to happen when you live in an expanded space. Pain in your body shifts, your fatigue and overwhelm dissipates, because when you're receiving information, when you're not in that contracted state of always trying to figure everything out, and you're just expanded, that information just flows through you. Other people's stuff just flows through you, and it really truly allows you to become the receiver instead of the resistor of information. So I'm not gonna spend the whole show talking about that, because I truly could spend the whole show talking about just how expanding changes your life. I'm gonna move forward here, but you kind of get the drift. So being in an expanded space really truly allows your whole perception of the world to shift and change. It makes leaving the house easier. I mean, so many things happen when you become the expanded space of you versus the contraction. So that's the module number 1, is all about expanding. I have so much information in there about why you want to expand, how expanding changes your life, all of it, okay? Module number 2 is clearing. So when we get into clearing, essentially we're talking about clearing out your energetic blocks. You know, most of that energetic block switch you've probably heard me talk about before, right? the blocks are in your energy, your space, and your consciousness, also known as your universe. And these are basically all of the points of views, right? Everything that you've decided is right and wrong and good and bad, all of the belief systems, everything that you have defined as real and true is all stored within your energy, your space, and your consciousness, aka your universe. And when you are when you're staying expanded and you start living in that expanded space, you start to be able to perceive where your body is in resistance of information. And that resistance of information means that you have some kind of energetic form and structure, whether it be a belief system, whether it be something you have stored as right or wrong or good or bad. You have something that you're believing in that is resisting or putting a block up to information and stopping you from receiving. So in the module number 2, I talk all about all of these energetic blocks, and then I talk about how to clear them. Now, you may have, I do clearings here and there and here and there in the show sometimes, right? But essentially, this is when you get into your expanded space, when you get into your universe. This is your universe, and you get to decide what's going on in here. Okay. Now, many of us have lots of form and structure. We have lots of form and structure stored around a majority of the emotional concepts that we buy into, right? Guilt, shame, fear, anger, rage. We have lots of blocks to where we have decided what we can or can't have. We have essentially everything that we buy into as real and true becomes an energetic block in our life. And clearing is, I would say, the most effective way that I have truly found to be able to grab everything that is making up that point of view and clear it out of your reality for good. So recently, as I've been writing this program, I've been kind of revisiting what goes along with clearing, right? So right now, I'm setting up the energetic receiving method in the consciousness playground. Okay, the energetic receiving method is actually going to be part of the consciousness playground. So when you sign up for the consciousness playground, you're essentially going to start at the energetic receiving method. Okay. Now, the first thing obviously you go through is that expanding module. That's going to teach you how to expand. There is a little bit of recommended listening that you can listen to if you are feeling yourself fighting against this reality, because that's really probably something that you really have to learn how to go beyond if you really truly want to evolve and awaken in this reality. You have to stop not wanting to be here. So I have a few audios in there that are also in the playground that kind of coincide with releasing that feeling that you don't want to be here, releasing that resistance to continuing to live in this reality. And then as you go on to the clearing the blocks, which is module number 2, in the playground I have the programs that coincide with clearing. Now, in 2016, I created a program called Playing in Polarity. And in this Playing in Polarity program, I recorded essentially every single audio I could possibly think of at the time about places and spaces where not only, number one, I had energetic blocks in my own life, but I was working with clients at the time, and these were the things that I was repeatedly clearing out for others, right? And so I recorded a whole series. I think there's like 48 audios altogether of essentially just every concept that I could think of that I had an energetic block against. Okay, so whether it was again, emotional concept, or it was a place where I was doing like a projection of information that was what I thought was right or good, or it's basically everywhere as I was waking up, everywhere I was blocking myself from receiving something different. And so in the playground right now, when you go through each one of these modules in the energetic receiving method, so first you go through, the module number 1. When you get to module number 2, you listen to all of the audios along with that about right and wrong and good and bad, belief systems and form and structure. And then it leads you to, okay, now you can go to, like, for instance, playing in Polarity and start listening to those audios, because that whole program is in there to clear out that form and structure, to clear out those places where you have those energetic blocks that is stopping you from having a different point of view, that's stopping you from having a different reality. And within that playing in Polarity program, I also have a lot where I talk about even what I went through as a parent, when I went through, a lot of because at that time when I was recording the playing in Polarity, I had kind of already went through giving my children complete and total choice, and really understanding that I didn't want to implant them with right and wrong and good and bad. I wanted to teach them, which is, I would say, at the core of really what I do, is teach them how to make choices. Understanding that you are the creator of your reality. What you choose in your life is what you create. And so I have some audios in there too. There's an audio series called Parenting Ease, where I go through and I talk about all of the tools to really truly uh, allow you to parent your children in a way that you are not instilling form and structure and telling them how to live and teaching them how to check in with you to see what they can choose, what they can do. Because, we spend a lot of time here now waking up, deprogramming ourselves from where we are still checking in with others to see what we can choose, where we are still, trying to figure out what we want to do or what we want to, have in our lives. And if you can start when they're young and you can teach them how to do this for themselves at 8, 7, 9, 10, whatever, and really truly allow them to have that life, or be able to make choices that truly work for them. So within that playing in Polarity, that module number 2 is kind of the suggested audios are the ones that really start with clearing out those places and spaces where you are not allowing yourself to receive information that is looping you back into not having a life that works for you. And now, again, although that's within the receiving, or within the energetic receiving method, it's part of what unlocks you to truly become the receiver. So that's module number 2. Module number 3 is really truly healing your life. Okay. So in this module, I really go over the receiving technique to change the energy that we feel around our past, the way that we relate to the experiences, about, what has happened to us, what people have done to us. When we change the way we feel about our past, it really changes the way that our future can show up. So it's a very powerful technique to shift not only your past, but even really truly to even look at how your relationships are showing up, and what what points of views you have, even about the people that you love, but even about strangers. If you're holding a space for people to come into your life and take advantage of you, how you will frequency match that in your reality and not be able to see it, and you will create the same bad experiences over and over and over and over, because it's really truly all about that past stored form and structure that is creating your life. So I actually talked about that last week on Expand Your Reality. Did a whole show about essentially pulling and receiving to really truly heal your life. So again, module number 3 is all about healing your past, all of those old images of you, those old traumas, all of that old information that you have stored about you. It's also about healing your relationships to others, family members, strangers, everyone. It's basically really about getting out of the overwhelm about what you're holding to be true about people around you. And number 3, healing feeling the way that you feel about your life and your choices. Because this is a big thing to really get out of, if you're always telling yourself, oh, I make bad choices and I don't know, how to move forward with my life and all this stuff. We want to clear that energy out of there so you can have a different point of view. Then I have programs that coincide with doing that same pulling and receiving method that are in the playground. And those programs would be, we have the money pull program, which is really all about receiving money into your body, into your being, about asking for money, about really pulling money from all the people in your past that have ever owed you. I mean, just think, you could have lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of people, places, things that owe you money. And so it's all about receiving, because if I know anything about energetic receivers just like me, those of us that are empaths, money is one of the most, I would say, probably the most dynamic resistance that we have to this reality, right? We're always resisting money. We have a lot of points of views about how money shows up. And there's also a money, I didn't say, but there is also a audio series called Money Struggle, which is all about clearing those money blocks, which is linked from module number 2. So again, module number 3 is all about receiving. So then there's the 30 days of receiving money. There's, or money pulls, I'm sorry. There's also a whole program around receiving love from everyone and everything, really getting into that receiver space of allowing the universe to gift you with love. That's such an important concept for us to understand, is we can receive love. We can receive love from everyone and everything, and really allow our body and our being to heal and shift and change. So on that note, as I'm continuing to explain here, let's go on a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to continue to explain the energetic receiving method and really give you the information that you may require so that you can really truly become the receiver in your reality.
The Consciousness Playground is a membership community to support you in living a conscious and aware life. Each month, members receive life and reality-changing concepts. It also includes member-only content and a VIP Facebook group to ask questions and connect with like-minded individuals. The Consciousness Playground currently has instant access to over 150 hours of life-changing audios and exclusive programs, with more added each month. Each and every month has a theme and includes audios and live calls around that topic. This playground has audios worth over $1,500 that you can access all at once. Come learn, grow, expand, and create something different in your life today.
Frequency infusion meditations are designed to create expansion of being and awareness of self. Lift and change the vibration of your body, places, and things through sound at frequencyinfusion.com.
And we're back. And now we're going to continue kind of talking about the energetic receiving method. I hope that I'm making sense here and I'm not boring you to death. I just really want to get this information across. I want people to understand that when you are receiving from this universe, when you are really truly being in that receiver space, everything changes. So essentially, the first three things I talked about there, again, to me, it's like it all stacks on top of each other. Okay, you start in that expanded space. You understand that when you have resistance to information, or when you can't receive information around a certain subject, that means that you have a block that needs to be cleared, right? Or you're looping in a pattern that you don't like. You more than likely you have an energetic block to that. You have a lot of points of views around it. really truly needs to be cleared. Then you go to that space where you're really truly receiving all of those old mental images, all of the old information that you have stored, allowing that to be dissipated and released. It just, even those three tools alone start really transforming your life. And when you keep moving forward and you understand, again, greater and greater and greater how your body is a receiving organ, and how continuing to learning to receive everything, learning to receive, you know, pretty much from everyone and everything, how that literally changes your life dramatically. Receiving is the missing piece to me, that really allows you to have the true freedom, to know everything that you know. It allows you to, become that awareness being where you really truly do know everything about everyone without having a point of view. So many of us loop in this idea that we're judgmental, or we're mean, or we're unkind, or we're this or we're that. No, we've just been programmed with ideas that make us feel that way about ourselves. But in all actuality, we are just complete and total awareness. And this reality has taught us how to dynamically resist what we know. And then when we do get glimpses of what we know, this reality has taught us how to loop back into feeling bad about what we know, versus understanding that, hey, it's all just information. And there isn't probably one of us on this planet who, is a 100% angel, 800% of the time. Like, we all have our own stuff. We all have stuff going on. We all have things that we have stored that maybe we're not proud of. We've all done things. There's not anybody in this reality who hasn't done something that they don't feel shameful about, or they don't feel bad about. And understanding that, hey, we're all here together. We've all been learning and playing in all of the concepts that this reality has to offer. And when we learn how to be the space where we just receive from everyone and everything without having to go through and store it energetically in our own body, or we don't have to go through and define it as good or bad or right or wrong. We just get that everything is just information, and we are just receiving information all the time. It's only our categorization of if it's good or bad or right or wrong that allows us to store it a certain way in our body, or causes us to resist the information on some level that then puts us in an energy where we feel like we're bad and wrong. Us energetically sensitive people, us empaths, we spend a majority of our day feeling like we are bad and wrong at the core of who we are, from the information that we are receiving from the world. And if there's one gift that I can give you today just by listening to this radio show, it's understanding that you are not bad and wrong because you are receiving information from other people. That is who you are, and what you defined, or what you're here to do, is be a receiver. Your body is a receiving organ. How can you live in a receiving organ and not understand that you are here to receive information? Just feel that for a moment. This reality has taught us that receiving information is bad, that it's not okay to just know things, that you always have to, show your work, or you can't just know that. You have to learn it, right? You can't just, know the problems to the math problem. You have to, or the answers to the math problem. You have to do the work for the math problem. And the thing is what that has done is it has dramatically put us in resistance and wrongness of who we are. Nice deep breath. So by learning how to be that receiver, by learning how to just receive from everyone and everything without having to define it and store it within your form and structure and try to figure it out and try to resist the information that you feel like is bad or wrong, or all of that, by just really truly becoming the receiver, which is module number 4, receiving from everyone and everything. You understand that you always known, you always have known, you are a knower of all information. And when you really just surrender to that and you dive into it and you allow yourself to truly be that receiver on that level, everything changes. Just take a nice deep breath. So module number 4 is all about uh, being the receiver. It's about receiving from everyone and everything. Module number 4 also kind of takes you to the 30 days of receiving that I did last year, I think, and really teaches you how to use receiving to get everything that you desire out of life. It teaches you how to ask questions and receive that information into your body, and you can really use that information or those questions. There's I think there's even maybe 10 question sheets that teach you how to ask questions of the universe, right? How to project out a question, how to receive the information, which again is again turning your body into that receiving organ, understanding that this is an ask and receive universe. Every time I have a conclusion, every time I've decided something, it lays a path in my universe. But if I understand that I am a receiver, I am receiving information all the time, and I can truly get clear about what I want to receive, I can put that information out into the universe, and I can allow the universe to respond energetically, and I can become the receiver of that information to actualize what it is that I truly desire. And when you get that, when you understand that, as a receiver, you are continuously receiving information all the time, uh, you can understand that you can create anything that you desire in your life, okay, if you're willing to receive the space of it. So that, to me, that's probably one of the most important modules in here, is understanding that you are a receiver and that your body is receiving information all the time, and really spending lots of time just really truly becoming that receiver of information. And kind of module 5, again, it kind of stacks right into that, because module number 5 is feeling your truth. And really within that, it's once you've become the receiver, then you need to really make sure that you're identifying, hey, am I really truly feeling this, or am I just perceiving information from someone else? Am I just receiving information that I've decided is mine? Am I just receiving information that I have this storage space of, figuring out, right? Because we are master figure outers, you guys. And I know that that's kind of a technical term, not really, but we really truly are. And when you learn how to receive, and you learn how to identify, this is something that I'm truly feeling, or this is just something that I am perceiving from the universe, it changes your life. So module number 5 is all about really truly understanding that, how to feel what feels light and true for you. So in this module, it talks about feeling versus perceiving, talks about why you want to stop concluding, why you want to stop buying information as yours that really isn't. Talks about why you want to end I don't know from your vocabulary, because if you really truly want to get into feeling your truth, you have to stop buying things that aren't yours. You have to stop concluding things about your body and your life, and you have to stop saying, I don't know, because every time you say, I don't know, you invoke more and more confusion in your life and in your body. So then we get to that space where you can really truly feel your truth by asking questions. You can understand, when you get to a lightness that is a truth for you. And sometimes it doesn't cognitively make sense to us, because we think well, that's really not what I had decided. But again, your decisions might not be best case scenario for you. And if you're really willing to start living a life that truly works for you, you have to understand that sometimes there's going to come in things that you didn't plan or didn't think about, that really truly are your lightness. Because the thing is if you knew how to live a life of lightness, you would already be there. You would already be living it. Okay, so you have to be open. It's so interesting to me. I work with people all the time, and I get it because I've been here too, but I see it so dynamically with people. It's like, oh, well, this is light, but, and they tell me all of the reasons why they don't want to choose it. And then I say, okay, well then, say the opposite. Say you're going to choose what you feel like you should choose. How does that feel? Well, it feels really heavy. And then they tell me all of the reasons why, again, why they don't feel like they should choose it. But the thing is understanding that, getting to really truly living your lightness, sometimes it doesn't cognitively make sense for you to be able to figure out why you should choose that. The universe is always telling you, choose what feels light, and when you get there, you will understand. Okay, this is not about always trying to figure out your life. So module number 5 is all about getting into that lightness. It's all about understanding that you have to follow the lightness in order to really truly be able to feel what is real and true for you in your body. And the more that you do that, the more you follow that, the more your life is going to expand. And I know that I'm talking about each one of these modules kind of really fast. At the same time, I'm explaining a lot, but really I could spend a whole show talking about each and every one of these. So I'm trying to kind of give you a rundown because I want you to see how, when you learn how to do this, and how I'm giving you all of the modules to know how to do this all within the playground, okay? Each one of these modules that I'm talking about has coinciding programs that are going to walk you step by step on how to use this tool in particular. So module number 5 is all about getting into your heavy and light, right? Getting into your body, getting into feeling what is true for you. And there's a program in there called, now in the playground, called Ending the I Don't Know. And ending the I Don't Know is essentially all of the kind of the path, I should say, to really truly being able to stand in your lightness, to really truly be able to get out of that looping paradigm of not knowing and get into making choices that work for you, following down the path of really truly standing in what works for you. So that's module number 5. I kind of feel like I need to kind of go fast here for the last couple modules. So module number 6 is all about boundaries, okay? I talk about boundaries versus protection, okay? Because this is so important. Often when I talk about expanding and receiving, people want to tell me how very necessary protection is. Then they tell me about how they have to protect themselves from energy vampires, or how they have to shield themselves from an abusive partner. But for me, that's really not about protection at all. That's a boundary issue, okay? If you understand what works for you, and what really truly who you are, you really understand that you never need to protect yourself ever. When you're firm about what you want in your life and how to create your life, it's really truly easy to not be the effect of negative people or an abusive situation, because you won't allow these people in your life anymore. Plus, you'll understand that when you work with energy, you don't have to protect yourself from an energy vampire, or you're going to be playing ping pong and you're going to be in resistance of that person, and that person is going to be able to control and dominate and manipulate you. But if you go back to the beginning and you stay in that expanded space, and you pull and receive, and you acknowledge what you know, and you stand in your lightness, that person is going to leave you alone, because they cannot control, manipulate, and dominate you. And that's what an energy vampire is looking for: someone that they can control, manipulate, and dominate. So when you understand that, again, all of these go hand in hand, okay? To understand that, to have healthy boundaries, you need to be able to be in that space of receiving all the time. So you always are aware of what's going on around you. You are always aware if that works for you or not. And you are always available to be able to say no without feeling bad, without feeling wrong, because you understand that it's not an energetic alignment of who you be. And the thing is every single one of us learned how to live in energetic alignment of who we be this planet would transform instantaneously. This planet is existing in the dynamic polarity that it's existing in right now because of the resistance and the reaction that we have in our bodies. And when you understand this whole concept, you understand that you understand how to stand in what works for you. You understand how to receive information in a way where you can define, okay, this is who this person is being, and this does or doesn't work for me, and you know how to energetically deal with it so you can move on. Period. So module number 6 is all about boundaries, and that's what I talk about in that module, is really truly how to move forward as an energetic being in that space of receiver to transform your life and put up those boundaries. Or really, it's not even put up, it's just standing in your boundaries and understanding how to acknowledge all of the information so you can make choices that work for you, and really truly how that creates for others as well. So module number 6 is all about that. Module number 7 is all about making conscious choices, okay? Really, truly choosing what you want your life to feel like, deciding what you actually truly want, how to make choices. So I have a lot of different processes in there on how to make choices, how to really feel if a choice feels heavy or light for you. Okay, because again, going back to understanding that when you choose your lightness, you expand your life, right? When you choose choices that are heavy, you cause contraction. All of a sudden, you're living in this like heavy and hard. You feel like you have no choices, but if you make choices from that conscious, expanded space where you've received all the information around the choice, just feel that for a moment. When you make choices from a conscious standpoint, where you have already gone through, I am standing in that expansion, I am receiving the information, I fully, completely understand what that choice is going to create in my life because I've already received all of the paradigms around it. You know what to say yes to and what to say no to with ease. I'm at a point in my life right now when somebody says something to me, I can feel instantaneously just by hearing the words come out of their mouth, whether it's heavy or light, especially if it pertains to my life. Somebody says, hey, you want to blah, 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 blah. It's like I can feel what that choice is going to create in my body instantaneously. Hey, you want to, you know, go out to dinner and have some drinks? Instantaneously, I can feel what that choice creates in my body because I live in my tools. Okay. I live in an expanded space. I live in being the receiver all the time. I live in the lightness of me. So when someone says something to me, I instantaneously can feel if that choice is going to be heavy or light. Then I can respond back with, hey, if I get that that choice is going to create a heaviness and a wonkiness in my field, no way, I'm not choosing that. And I don't have to explain myself or make it make sense for somebody else because it's not about anybody else, it's about me. And again, that goes back to the boundary thing. When you get that, when every single one of us make choices that are light and free for us, it has nothing to do with anybody else. It has everything to do with who you are and how you're creating your life and the frequency that you want to live in. So module number 7 is all about making conscious choices. But at this point, when you've gone through the energetic receiving method and you understand module 1 through 6 and you've been consciously practicing it, by module number 7, making conscious choices is easy because you're already feeling what all of those choices that you've been doing are creating for your life, and it just flows all together from there. And module number 8, which is the last place, is alignment. So in module number 8, we're talking about holding space. We're talking about projecting out your future. We're talking about staying in your feelings. Really, truly understanding the alignment of you is really that frequency match of what you want your life to be like. So module number 8 is all about alignment. by the time you get to module number 8, you really truly understand how to use each one of these tools. If you have been doing them in a way where you've been kind of stacking them on top of each other, and this is kind of one of those things where you can go back over and over and over and re-listen to stuff, okay? Because it's all stored within the consciousness playground. But by the time you get to module number 8, you understand alignment, you understand frequency matching, because you understand frequency and vibration, because you have been receiving it for so long. So essentially, the energetic receiving method, in my personal point of view, has all of the tools, everything that you need to really truly transform your life by becoming that receiver of information. It gives you a firm uh, awareness of who you are and where you're going and what you would like to create in your life. It really truly awakens every single sense in your being and really allows you to follow who you be, to live a life of ease. So the energetic receiving method is in the playground right now. You can join the playground. You can do a monthly fee. You can pay for the whole year, which really, truly, if you really, truly are invested in waking up, transforming your life, committing to the year and getting that discount and really diving in, there's in addition to the modules, there's all of those extra programs. Plus, you guys, I do a monthly call. Plus, I do a monthly concept where I add 4 different calls on that concept to expand really truly on each concept. So I'm going to be diving further into anything that feels like it needs more information on everything within the energetic receiving method to really truly transform your life. So I would love to have you. You can go to my website, Jamie, Jamie Bates, Bates.com. Sign up for the Consciousness Playground and really come with us. Let's learn how to be receivers. Let's learn how to transform our life dramatically. Understanding that when you are the receiver, you can receive everything, and you really truly get to choose the life that you desire for yourself. Plus, you awaken and transform your whole life. So thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope that I was able to kind of put the pieces together for you to really help you understand how being a receiver can transform your life dramatically. If we all were in that space of receiving what works best for us and in alignment of who we be, again, this life would transform magically, and this reality would wake up and transform instantaneously. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I'm grateful that you're joining me, and I hope to connect to you in the future. Have a great day.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.